journey, not just in the NHS alone. You know, there's a point where I see a job, I want to take the job, and most of the time, the preparation starts from before you actually apply for that job. I think that you have to research and prepare. I'll just quickly go, yeah. So, where they normally drop is that before you go, and don't just drop your CV. You probably would have seen, for those that have been applying for NHS, it's very rarely that they accept CVs. They will ask you, answer some questions. They will ask some questions. You must answer them. And those are the things that they are checking. What you basically need to do is, I've got a business development manager job role. You go in there, look at the job description. They normally have person specification. They will have essential criteria. They will have desirable criteria. At that stage, what you need to show is that not only do I need the essential, I even have some of the desirable. That will now, particularly if it's a role that is quite competitive, that will give somebody an attention and make your CV your application to receive attention. And I said there, understand the application requirements and success profile. They will tell you, for this person, the candidate we are looking for must be this, must be that, must have a BSc in this. Not typically, but I'm just saying. So when you're now doing why have you applied for this job point of the application, those are the things you are going back to that application, they are adverts, and you are picking them. You are using the words that they have used. If, maybe we call it marketing, and they've used business development, you don't use marketing, you will use business development. Whatever keywords that they are using there, that's what you will be using when you are doing that. It's very important, because most of the time we want to push our application, do like 20, 10, 15 at the year, but that's not the goal. If it's 3 you are able to do, it's a work looking for a job in itself. It's a job, full-time job to look for work. So we just need to be able to understand that bit. And I said for civil service, not just NHS will not ask for, they won't ask for your CV. The fire service, I worked in the fire service before, they will ask for CV. Some parts of civil service also ask for CV, but at the same, they'll say attach your CV at the end, but they will ask you for all those questions. That you can't have one CV. No. You need to modify your CV according to the job you are applying for. Okay, I've used this one for NHS grant here. It's the same thing, or a similar job. You just forward it like that. No, I think that those are the areas at times where the applications get dropped. Prepare the statement. They will ask for statement. Why do you want to? Why NHS? Go online, research. AI is helpful now. You can just, if you do a summary for you, and then use your own words based on the application there. I think that's, people they use words in the advert. Very importantly. I interview, depending on the role, they'll say star. What I would normally advise people is, once before you go for the interview, have at least 5 or 7 examples. Go through the job description. STAR or VPR. STAR is a situation, task, and what's the action and then result. So you are given an example of what you did and how you resulted in something either positive or negative. It's not at the interview that you're now thinking about, because at times you will get there, you will not remember anything. Just look at the job description. What have I done? Even while I was in Nigeria, is there anything I've done before, that is related to this job? Just list those examples. Have about 5 at least to relate to, There is some will do value-based recruitment. What that means is that the organization will have their own values. So they will say, NHS, the honesty, integrity, like that. So they will now test you based on their values. So they tell me a time where you attended and you had to deal with a very difficult situation and you were able to maneuver it around. They're probably maybe testing your resilience. They're probably testing your teamwork. How were you able to overcome that? So those examples, you need to have prepared them ahead of time. And
how do they score the stories you tell them?
How convincing you sound, that's one. Okay, how it relates to the job, that's how they score. Okay? So if they are looking for teamwork, and you say, oh, when I got there, this person was difficult, I just gave that person peace of my mind, and I walked away. Obviously, they know you are not a team worker. You get what I'm saying? So if they are looking for teamwork, yes. It's not that you agree with the person, but you look for a way to turn things around. And also they'll say, okay, somebody that is a learner as well, that is not afraid to learn. So maybe if you gave an example of something that you had not done before, all right, but you had to go and meet somebody to help you. At the end of the day, it was not difficult, it was not easy, but you got there. Or it might even be maybe a failure, okay? That's somebody that is being vulnerable. You're not saying I know it all. You are teachable. Yeah, I didn't know at that time, but I've learned my lesson. So you've sort of given them the outcome of learning at the end of the day, even though it wasn't what you were expecting, but I learned. Next time when I face the similar situation, I will know this. I've now known I needed to maybe ask questions before things like that. So I'm just thinking, yeah, because maybe what I can do.
The VBR.
Yeah, it's value-based recruitment. So it talks about the values of the organization, and then they tailor the question based on the values of the organization. Yeah, so that's what it's about. What I was thinking about is, I'm just thinking, what can I do in terms of this? All right. I'll ask bro Dari. Maybe what I could do is anything I'm able to find in terms of examples, in terms that you can use at interview, I'll forward to bro Dari. Bro Dari will help me disseminate. So again, if you're on LinkedIn or maybe any of the social media platforms, there are people that really specialize in recruitment, and their content that they throw out. Example of teamwork, for example. You won't necessarily use their example, because if you are not saying the truth, they will know if it's something you've not done, because they will probe you, and by the time you start to stammer or stutter, they will know. So it's just, all right, actually, I didn't know I could use that example. It will help you to be able to tailor your own examples. Yeah, so, right. How many minutes do we have? 40 minutes. I think is it 12:15 we're supposed to finish, or 2:15? 15. We've got time. I've just rushed through stuff, because I thought we didn't have time. I thought we were finishing at 1:55. Okay. So, planning at every point in time, before the application, when you've now got the application, your application in, when you've been invited for interview, it's not just on the day alone. You start again by preparing. The examples I've given. Prepare. Go back again and look at the job description. Spend some time to think about what is it I've done. It could be in a work setting. It could even be maybe in church that you are able to tailor. You don't have to mention that in church. I say, well, charity I support. These are the things I've been able to do. Just think about it and reflect. Most of the time, the clue of who they are looking for, they are usually in the job description. They are usually in the person's person. Some will even go ahead and say, oh, this person that we are looking for must be able to demonstrate, and they will listen, like that. I put there that plan your outfit. General rule of thumb for me is that if you are working in the civil service, we don't mind if you wear suit. If you don't, but make sure you just look smart. That is the most important thing. Look smart. And your interview starts from the gate. It's not when you start coming. Some people will be the receptionist, it might even be the person that is interviewing you that's standing by the desk, and they are, XYZ is here. Somebody actually told us that they went for an interview, told me. So she was coming in, another person was going out at the same time. So she held the door for this person. And the person said, thank you. Meanwhile, they were looking at her CCTV. So after she got the job, said, oh, that was very nice of you. We actually saw you, the way you held the door for that person. So that it starts even from the car park. If you're parking in their parking lot, it starts there. Just comport yourself. I say plan your outfit for the day, what you want to wear. It's not in the morning that we just put red t-shirt and you go. No. I'll say rule of thumb, if you have white, just wear white or wear black. There's no red, pink, yellow, or whatever. Just like that, and you go and join in it. And there's nothing that ruffles someone if you think you get there and your bus gets delayed or something happens on the way. So give yourself plenty of time. That's timing in itself. It calms you down. It puts you in the right place of mind to be able to think. Get your documents. If you are bringing your CV, don't fold them or whatever. Let them be neat. If you have a folder, put them in a folder or an envelope or whatever. Anything you are bringing with you, just make everything to be tidy at the end of the day. So, I say at the interview, be yourself, be professional. One of the things with us, and when I say with us, I've been there before and I've gotten the feedback. At the point, most of our culture is, they say, oh, don't maintain eye contact, you look or you. And to them here, they think you are lying if you are not looking at them. That's the thing. They think you are probably lying. Yeah. That's why if they ask you a question, if you are not looking, you maintain eye contact, smile. Yeah. You look away. You maintain eye contact, look away. Maintain eye contact, look away. Less of hand movements. Like it comes across as being aggressive. It's who we are here as Africans. But less hand movement. Yeah. If a question is being asked as well, instead of saying, "Oh, they've caught me, I don't know this question," I'll just give an example that I know. Ask them, "I'm sorry, I'm not sure I get that question. Could you clarify?" Some of them will explain it better to you, and you'll be able to. And if you don't know it, there's no problem. Say you don't know it. The pastor has mentioned one situation where he said they asked him a tricky question, and his first instinct was to say, maybe just give, and he now said, actually, I don't know that question. And they told him, actually, we're going to trick you. It wasn't something that you would do in that line of your job. Okay, just say you don't know, but make sure you've tried and then find an answer truly, and you can't really, don't know it, say you don't know it, and let it be. Okay, I'll put in some examples here, because Brother asked me to, I can't see the pointer. Because I actually could link, I linked the websites, so you could actually go there to each of these websites. But anyway, my job Scotland, for those that are looking for example, fire work, the fire service work. And when I say fire service, not just literally firefighters alone. I mentioned earlier that I used to work with the fire service in the HR capacity. Any job that has to do with the council, you find in my job Scotland. Any job that has to do with maybe the other aspect that is not NHS, you will find in my job Scotland of civil service and public sector. There's a civil service job as well. That's for all over the UK. You need to register to be able to. You can register and get alerts for what you want. That obviously there's NHS. When you were mentioning data analyst, just before I came, as I was putting the link, there are some jobs in data analyst on the NHS Scotland.
Yeah, they actually have three. I saw three.
Have a look. And there's the Department of Works and
check. No, put the band. Start from maybe like band 5 or 7, like 5, 6, 7.
All bands.
But if you check, there are three applications now that are closing.
So, yeah, those are the 4 websites I've come up with generally. If you, yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Which one is that last one?
Department of Works and Pension.
All these are acronyms.
So they have their own website.
They link to the civil service.
We usually see them in civil service.
Yeah, you can, but the way they've done it is that you could actually select the type of job that you want. The one that is made, for example, disability confident, I know we don't have that, or the one that has a specific thing that you're looking for, hybrid, things like that. You'll find there. What Brother, I'll ask Brother to help us to do is to send the links. But it's just I couldn't point. You would have clicked on it and it would take us to.
My job Scotland is just one word. Civil service job is just one word.
I think they are just straightforward.
They are just straightforward, yeah. So
but you need to register with
them So I will just, I think that's just all what I have got for us, and I've put a bit of encouragement there. It would be rough at the beginning, but what does the Bible tell us? It said we should trust in the Lord. Everything that we need to do, let's just submit to Him, and in His own time, He makes everything beautiful. Even the plan, as we're about to start the preparation for the application, let's commit Him into God's hands. So our CV will stand out. And again, we will put in the work that we are supposed to do. I will just stop. I know we've been speaking for a while, so we'll come to you, sir. No, you, Pastor. Time has gone.
It's a question, I think.
Okay,
For questions. Okay, I can. Thank you so much, Ma, for the presentation. My question is about some of these behavioral questions that I usually ask. I don't know how many of us have come. So what would be the best approach in answering those questions? Because sometimes some of them can just come in a contradictory way. Are you able to do this? If you are in a team of 5, are you going to take the lead? Like rating yourself 1 to 5 and all those kind of questions. So what would be, because it's usually common with civil service.
What we were saying, okay, maybe you were not here. I said when you go through the job advert, the job description will tell you who they are looking for. Okay, the person spec will be there, the person specification. The success criteria in some situations, they will list it there. And somebody that is supposed to do this job must have this. Okay? You see teamwork, you see all those other things. And what I said earlier on is that before you go for the interview, look at those things. The key words there, teamwork, communication, must be able to lead a team. You will need to go and look for examples of how and when you were able to show all those key things. Some of them will tell you that our interview will be VBR, or we'll use the competency-based style for our interview. They will tell you. They won't catch you unawares. No, they will tell you what they are going to do. So if they've told you that, what you now need to do is prepare, look for the situation. What did you do? What happened? What was the result? And most importantly, when you are doing VBR, they are key about learning. What did you learn from the process? What did you learn? Is it how not to do things or how to do things better? There must be some learning at the end of the day. So the point, the key point there, my brother, is that the preparation before the interview is very important. Because even at times, and there's nothing wrong, you can write your examples down in your notes and take it with you. Because at times under interview condition, you may forget all those things. And you'll now come out and say, oh, I should have mentioned that one. Oh, I should have.
So there's no crime in
writing
and...
No, there's no crime, no. Even when they ask you the question and you say, at least can I write down? They say, that's fine. You can write down. Yeah, there's no crime at all.
Just to buttress your point about writing down, one of the things we teach in the job club is know your personality. If you're an extrovert, seriously extroverted, there is the tendency that you're going to say some things without thinking it. And that's why you need to catch yourself by writing down. So when they ask the question, don't just begin to, even if you know the answer, just take your time. Take your time. Just take your time, take a pen and just write bullet points. Bullet point. Now that you have slowed yourself down and you have put the point of the things you're going to say. Those 1, 2, 3. And at the end, once you've just finished saying what I just said, that's it, done. So in that way, you will not say things that will rope you in. Because for those people who are more extroverted, there's more likely than not that you will say things that will put you into problems at the end of the day. So, but if somebody is introverted, the person is always calculated. They already thought about, even the person has done a dry run of everything before what he's going to say, how he's going to say it. But so there's no problem in you writing down. Just be comfortable, and it also helps you to slows you down and gives you.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? We didn't get to meet you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Olusoyeni is my name. Yes, I work presently with Amazon at Maryville. I also do healthcare too at support. Only me.
Only you.
But the health support is on what does it call now? I'm on relief.
Bank staff.
Because since children have to go to school, so mommy have to work. So when they are on holiday, I work.
And one of the good things of work with the civil service is that they tend, you could be there for donkey years, I'll tell you. Yeah. And they tend to accommodate. You see all those flexible working, oh, sorry, I can't do 5 days, or sorry, I can only start at 7, or sorry, I can only start at 9 because I need to do school runs. Or even you can start at 7 and say, oh, I need to go and do school runs at 1 or 9, between 9 and, as long as you make up your hours. Yeah, that is one of the pros of working in the civil service. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. My name is Rita Naja, and presently I'm looking to switch to the civil service because of family reasons as well, having time for the kids. I was a trained teacher back home in Nigeria, but because of big money, I went into oil and gas.
Do you know they are looking for teachers?
Yes.
So now I want to go back into
Teachers.
teaching. So
Okay.
that's why I'm looking into the civil service just now.
Okay. There is a shortage of teachers, but I think if I remember on top of my head, you need to go, because the way we teach in Nigeria
It's different.
is
Yes.
wonderful. So you need to go into school
Yeah.
and just train. Okay.
Some training.
Hello.
Okay. My name is Ada. I'm the pastor. I came in when you had almost finished. I'll just say I'm kind of like a recent graduate. I've been looking to, but I do like work part-time, online, remotely, doing a couple of things. I've been applying a lot to many civil service jobs. I've gotten, I don't know, about 2 interviews I'm in the energy sector, so, but I haven't been successful in the ones I have gone to recently, so, I mean, I just came here to sort of maybe see how I could do things better in terms of, maybe not the application, but maybe the interview stage, sort of, because I did, I've had 2 stages where I got to answering the competency questions, and they were asked again in the interview, and physical interview, and was a data analyst role in one of the authorities in the energy sector. And then the other one was more behavioral questions, and got a good sense of doing well in the interview, but unfortunately, I guess it wasn't for me.
Did they give you feedback?
One of them was recent. The last one I went to, the one I just got the most recent, that was on Friday, this past Friday. They didn't, but I was hoping to like email and ask back because
You could ask them.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they did say that they were gonna give feedback, but I didn't get
Okay.
the feedback.
You could then ask them for feedback. You know why I say that feedback helps, okay? Because at times we might think, oh, I actually did well. And there are some vibes you give off at the interview that you probably didn't know. But when they tell you, it helps you to sort of, oh, actually, I was doing that. Oh, did I do that? Because they might say, for example, you weren't sure, it seemed you were not clear of the question. But instead of you to ask for clarity, you just rambled on. Yeah. Maybe you might think, oh, I cannot not give something. Let me just say something. I'm just saying, yeah. So it's always good to ask for feedback. It helps us to get better. Yes, sir.
Yes, one of the ones I have is Siteco, actually, NHS Glasgow. The feedback I got was that I should have given more than one example when they asked questions. Because though, I think in fairness, they said we were about 10. At the start of the interview, they told me that we were about 10, but they didn't have 4. So when they gave feedback, so I asked for feedback, and what they told me that I was just giving one example of the questions that each time they ask a question, I have the flow, so I should next time give as many examples.
Yeah, try as much as possible. Yeah, to even make sure that.
It's not an issue of expression. is a problem, it's a challenge, is institutional. When you go for all this business analyst training, they have coached you into just a particular experience. So you don't have breadth, breadth, you don't have breadth, so you only have just one to rinse and repeat. So the solution, which is that you need to look for, you don't necessarily look for even big companies, charity. We can help you at the bridge, in which you create, you don't just have one, we create scenarios for you, different scenarios, and you deploy your skill in each and all those scenarios. So when you go for an interview, you're not just repeating just one example. And that has come over and over for anyone who goes to all this business analysis training. They say we'll give you projects, hands-on projects. Of course, you have one example, which is good, but go further. Have more than 1, 2, 3 different scenarios. Then that will give because the key point is believability. Can you actually do this job?
Yeah.
I can only know you can do the job when you give me more than 1, 2, 3 examples. And that will give me a confidence, oh, I think he can do it. He or she can do the job.
And the thing as well is that if you're going for an experienced role and you don't have the experience, okay, you could say, oh, actually, even though I've not really done this in a practical setting, but I've done X, Y, and Z before that is similar to this thing. Some organizations, I've seen someone like that, person was a social worker, just finished straight out of school, social worker, and the role they were going into, told them, I haven't done it before, but I know in a theoretical setting, this is what you would do. They gave the person the job because of what? They said, oh, we like your honesty. Yeah, no problem. We'll assign you to somebody that will train you. But if you go there and say you have done it, when you have not done it, it's one question they will ask, and it will show that you have not done it. So in terms of giving the examples, it's going back to what we spoke earlier on. If it's theory that you have, a theoretical knowledge, maybe somebody training you. Even with the theory, there are ways you could, I am not a business analyst, so I don't know what you do in business analysis. But let's say, for example, in HR, guys, if I've not recruited before, and I've gone to school, I've done recruitment, and they say, give me an example, and it has to do with recruitment, what I would say is that, I haven't done it, but I know in the situation, these are the things, even before I even start, I might not start up here, I haven't done it, I say, these are the processes you go through if you are recruiting a candidate. Obviously, you need to make sure your advert is this, is inclusive, is this one, just highlight it like that. And if you're able to show the theory, okay, at times, they might consider it that, okay, this person is teachable, we can teach this person, the gap is not much. So.
Just to buttress your point. Now, for those who are business analysts, now, you don't necessarily need to be employed or get a charity or an organization to be able to utilize your skills. You know all the things that a business analyst should do. All you need to do is create projects for yourself. Go to Kaggle, download all the projects and do all the dashboards, create various dashboards, various scenarios. So when you get to that particular place, all you need to do is, okay, on a project, you don't need to say which company or what, or on, I worked on diverse projects. On a project of this is the dashboard I created, this is how I did it. On that one, then that skill they're looking for, you'll be able to the crazy. But after now, we can work together, we can see how we can be able to do that.
And also, I'm coming to you. You see the person that trains, the trainer, or the training company, I think you could actually, I don't know, ask them for maybe success criteria when you go for an interview. For those that have done business analyst training, that's what I'm thinking. You could ask them, if I'm asked how to demonstrate it, can you give me an example? Or even as part of my training, could you give me some sort of project where I'll be able to demonstrate these skills that I'm learning? That will help us. So when you go for an interview, you'll be able to use those examples. Yes, sir.
Yes, just to buttress what you said regarding if they ask you any question and you don't know if you can, like the last interview that I went for, when the woman called me back, she said, Well, I know you've not worked in UK, but you will have given us the example of what you did in Nigeria. That would
Nigeria.
have, that was part of the feedback she gave you.
Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't have to be UK based. That's why I said, when I got my job here, the examples I was using, they were not UK based because I didn't have UK experience. I used my examples in Nigeria. They didn't ask me, was it in Nigeria or wherever? No, I just said, oh, in a previous job, and I gave the example. So it's different when you have maybe abroad experience, overseas experience, and not having any experience at all. They are two different things. It's even an advantage that you have worked outside the UK before, because that means you've done something different, somewhere else. International experience that you're bringing in, as long as you're able to sort of show how it's relevant and the skills there can be transferred to the job that you're doing. So, like I said, it doesn't have to be paid experience. It could be what you're doing in church. As Pastor has mentioned, if you're in a job club or it could be something, it's just basically what you have done before. It doesn't have to be paid. It could be voluntary, it could be back home, it could be in church. There was a time, I think some years back, that I gave example of me teaching in Sunday school, as part of the things I do. And I've seen people that have said in departments that they've served, the only thing is you don't have to say my church. You could say charity I support, because some of them you might have an atheist on the panel, and that alone will just put the person off. Charity I support.
Okay, here's more down to earth questions, still about interviews. Okay, so for instance, if you're asked, tell me about yourself in an interview panel, we didn't expect you to tell.
I have 3 children.
Because I realized that most of the jobs don't really place emphasis on maybe schooling and all that. So are you just supposed to mention your name and talk about your experiences, the skills you have?
As it relates to the job.
As it relates to the
job.
Yes. Because you would have prepared, you know what they are looking for. They've told you who they want. So you will give it back to them. That's it. As it relates to the job, just give it back to them. They say, we're looking for somebody that is outgoing. They won't necessarily say that I'm just using it because, or they say, we're looking for somebody that is hands-on, that will hit the ground running. So I've worked in an environment whereby I was the sole whatever, this is what I did. You've given them that you can hit the ground running. That's a plus. And you just want them. That tells me about yourself. I always see it as an open check for you to sell yourself.
It is. And just to buttress your point, you tell me about yourself is an open check, but also, like I've been in an interview in which the first question is not going to be tell me about yourself. So you mentioned, so don't be in that sort that we do in Nigeria. You've already planned that they will tell me about yourself, because once they move at something, you are scattered. And I just went to the interview, I was expecting, tell me about yourself, I warm myself up, and just say, why do you want to work here? No. Why do you want to work here? It's totally different. It's similar. I'm going to show you my slides later. But at that point, because what I was expecting is, let me articulate all the things I've already, I've already done earlier. And then, so it's important for you to know, and that's why I mentioned the fact that know yourself. What is your strength? What is it you are good at? What is the best? And like I said, for those who have really talked, I ask, what is your greatest achievement in your career? What is even the greatest achievement might not be in the UK, like you already mentioned. What is the greatest thing you've done and you've achieved? And those things should give you the confidence, because first you need the confidence to sit in front of the panel, and then you now be able to look at, okay, in this role, this is what you're looking for. Have I done it before? What did you achieve? Like you have 18 years in the bank. Now, having 18 years, calculate the number of clients and customers you dealt with in 18 years. That's going to close to around 5,000 people. Or more than. So you look at all those things and you say, oh, I've worked in diverse, and that will instill confidence in you, because your ability to be confident, first and foremost, will determine your performance of you being able to answer the question and keep calm.
Yeah, I'm going to say something. I'll come to you. You see, one thing that came to my mind as we were just speaking, try and get time is up.
Yes.
So,
Try and get a mentor in that field. Yeah, in that field you want to go into. If you can get someone that is already in the system, it will really be helpful. Get someone, then the person will be like, not an insider directly, but will be able to tell you this is how things are done. Yeah, it's very, very important. It's very important.
And one of the things to do that on LinkedIn, how people can look for people who are in that company or in that role on LinkedIn and just send an email to them and say, it's interesting. I would like to know what you do. You are warming yourself into that person. So once the person creates time and tells you what they do, don't just come and say, how does your company work?
Oh,
The person,
come and hire me.
and the people will not, that will be too front, you know. You want to create relationships. So to say, I saw your profile and I see that you're working for Bass. It would be nice to understand what do you do. So if that's create time for you, you are creating friendship and relationship. So if opportunity come in that place, then the person can be able to help you and give you information of what.
Can we take you before they come down?
Thank you. So in an interview, I had an interview that I got feedback on, and they said, yes, we like your personality, we like the joy you brought into the room. You answered our questions correctly. We really would have loved to have you in our team, but we had 4 other people there that we had strong competition. You had strong competition with, yeah. So we had to go for a stronger candidate. What do you make of such feedback?
You see the way they would normally give the feedback, even if the person was the bottom of the listing, they will always tell you there were people that were strong, and that's the reality. There were people that were stronger than you, you know, in the presented a better interview. That was why they were chosen. They will always give you that. I think maybe what you could ask is that what were the specifics of the area, just for my own development. What are the areas where I didn't really do well, or these other people sort of did better than me, and then they will be able to pinpoint your own specific feedback to you. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.